Also, sales is the highest paid position, but you got but
can also
you'll
be
find
the
out right. You'll know right away with sales if you're any good at it or not. You know,
is that true, Kyle? Or can't you get better at sales? Can't you?
Weed the fuck out. It won't matter. You either will or you won't. It doesn't matter if you can or you can't. You will or you won't, and because it'll be over quickly.
Like there's so many like sales.
Yeah, maybe 3-4 months of someone sitting right next to you and being your buddy and saying, no, you should have asked for the sale. You know, you didn't ask for the sale. Or, oh, you were too aggressive there. We don't ask for the sale when we meet them, buddy. But you've got your sink or swim, right?
Let me ask you this. Let's say we're grading salesmen on 1 to 10. Could it be you just need to hit the ground at a 5? You know, no one's going to start as a 10 probably, right? Very few. You just need to know that you're not a 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have some medium amount of experience in that, and I just noticed that like there were guys who could do it, and there were guys who couldn't. Like you either could or you couldn't. And
what was the characteristic of a guy who couldn't? Was he not bold enough?
Being personable.
I didn't want to be his friend. I didn't want to be that guy's friend. I every now and then I joke around about me as a 19-year-old kind of giving these guys a hard time that were in their 30s and 40s and 50s, and I think the reason I was giving them a hard time is like. I didn't want to be their friend. They were kind of losers. They just didn't seem like cool guys. They say like I remember like they just seemed weird. They weren't friendly. They weren't personable. They weren't guys that you wanted. I didn't care if they liked me. And there were, but some people you can't. You're like, hey, I wish Brad liked me. It'd be kind of cool, right? I mean, he's got a fucking side by side. Just he doesn't have a brother. That could be me. Me and Brad. We could be fucking. God, we'd have our own handshake. I know we would. You know, it could be like that.
I kind of want to be Brad's friend. That sounds
great.
Gee, Kyle's selling you on Brad right now.
I'm buying.
Like I have some sales experience, and like in seeing people, like you can tell if they're going to be good or not just by how. Like, honestly, like conversational, like if you're a conversationalist and you're good at making people feel comfortable, putting them at ease, like making the stakes seem low, just a normal day, like that kind of thing makes you good at it. Like,
you know, when you're on a date,
you don't want to be Mr. like asking for the sale 3 times before you've even spoken and like gotten to know them at all, because that's off-putting. And, you know, that person's not going to buy from you because they feel like you're a predator.
Do you remember how when it was your first day at a new grade or with a new teachers, like for that first week or two before you got to know her, you were real on edge with her. You're like, I don't know how she handles things. She might be fucking strict and scary. I'm going to like mind my P's and Q's. And then after a while, you feel comfortable around her and you guys, everything's a lot smoother. And the same's true when you're dating a girl, right? Like at first we're sitting on the couch and you're like, whew, if I like make the wrong move, I could offend her and like there could be a misunderstanding. But then like after maybe we've had sex or we made out or like goofed around or something, like now it's like I could flick her on the tit and make a joke out of it right now and it'd be funny. Like you've the same as
that bridge has been passed. Yeah.
You've got to like break that bubble of like social distance a lot quicker when you're selling something, because we don't have a couple of dates to break it down, and we don't have a couple weeks at school to break down that little barrier between teacher and student. I've got to become your friend, or at least someone that we can have like a normal loose conversation that's flowy.
Sure.
Now, like in the next 10, 20 minutes, because I gotta get you out of here. And
like you don't have to be like when I said conversationalist, I mean being able to read someone. You don't want to be Mr. Flowery, over the top, talk. Like you should be able, this is what it is. You need to be able to read someone and their intentions and their desires. Like, does that person want to be spoken to, or is that a no nonsense, don't fucking, hoity toity talk to me, just get it done? Or is this someone who maybe it's their first car and they would be more relaxed if they were in a more, gentle atmosphere, and you ask them like a question about themselves. Why do you want this kind of car? Oh, this will be perfect for that. Like, I've never sold cars, but like with sales in any way, you gauge the person first. You're selling yourself. That's trite, but you are in pretty much everything. If someone doesn't like you, they will not buy from you.
Exactly. You're not going to buy for someone, and the slightest offense can turn somebody off.
Yeah, because they're on edge. They're looking for offenses and potential slights of, oh, he revealed these.
I would often pose position myself as an independent kind of guy. Like, look, it's you versus them, and I'm your middleman. But don't worry, I'm with you. And I could sell that And so it made the process a lot easier, even though I'm not working in their best interest. They need to believe that, or at least kind of believe that I am. Because I mean, look, they want a car, right? Like, it's not like I'm going to ruin their lives or something like that. I'm trying to make an extra $2,000 here on a $50,000 purchase. I'm trying to put food on my table.
Like when I've done oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but it's like you said. You've got some people guys would come in, and this isn't their first rodeo, and they'd be like, "Hey, look, I'm here to buy a new F-150. I want the blah, blah, blah package. And hey, it's got to be red or black or red or black. And it's like, all right, do you know which one you want? You want me to pull it up here? You want me to take it on a test drive? Like I'm just giving, nah, I've done all that. All right. You want to see numbers? Yep. Let's do it. Hang on though. My manager actually, look, he'll give me a hard time if you don't go out there and smell that thing first. Right. So let me pull it around. Let's get in there and smell it. And then when he comes around and he asks if you smelled how the car smelled, you can say it smells great. Then I won't get in trouble, because I got to get him back out there to smell that fucking car before we start talking about numbers. He's got to get back in there one more time and feel how smooth the leather feels and like rev it up or whatever.
Why are you getting him in there? Is that true? Your manager doesn't care if he's in the car, right?
No, my manager doesn't care. I want him in there. I want him to go touch that $60,000 truck before he sits down and starts talking to Wells Fargo. Like I want him to remember why he's here.
The car to sell itself.
Yeah, the car does sell itself. They're nice. New cars are nice.
He's there because he wants it. You know,
BMW has this electric SUV. I think it's called an iX or something. Looks sick. It looks sick. And I'm looking at it in this commercial, my mouth's watering, and I'm like, that's a fucking sick car. That's a fucking sick car. I bet that car is $85,000 fucking dollars though, isn't it? And I went, well, that model isn't. That model actually starts at $105,000. And it's like, yeah, of course it does. It's a BMW electric SUV and it looks sick. Of course, they're $100,000. Is that what new cars are going to cost now? Should I just swallow the pill and get me one of them 6-figure fucking cars? Because that's just what cars cost now.
No, they're not that much, are they?
Fuck. If you want a cool one, if you want a cool fucking car that people go, oh, that's one of them. Those are $100,000 fucking dollars. It looks better in black, but that's it.
That one doesn't jump out at me as stand out. I mean to say, like I look at that car and
it's got this sunroof. It's got that like magical glass that just turns opaque instantly.
I don't like a crossover look in a really expensive car.
Again, it looked better in black.
Okay, I don't know.
I'm not loving it myself right now, but the one in black particularly looked good. And
like a Corvette is
the interior reminded me of the Tesla, but it's just like this long, big fucking glass panel.
I'm getting to an age where a man begins to appreciate a Corvette. It's not my fault, but I see a Corvette and I'm like, whoa, American cars look like McLarens now. Like this Corvette is as attractive as a Ferrari to my eyes. Like good gosh. Corvettes were always not quite as cool as those European ones. It looks cooler than a Bugatti to me. I think that any of our like big car guests would agree with me here and say that Corvette, like that Stingray Corvette, the 2022, 2023 or whatever, is the most bang you can get for your buck in a car period. Like it's so much car for, I mean, look, they're 90 to 110 or something like that, probably. And oh my fucking God, like, look, throw that next to any other car on the planet. And I'm still like, but that Corvette though, that looks cool. Like a rocket ship. I don't think it gives up anything to any car. And the Corvette traditionally did, like throughout my whole life, it was like, ooh, the Corvettes are cool. And then you're like, well, okay, the Ferrari's cooler. It's more expensive.
This is a mid-engine car.
Yeah, I know. Dude.
What does that mean?
I mean,
well, the people like the engine in the middle because it weights the tires better.
Okay.
And
you've got a front in this thing.
Yeah. But it's really hard you have to really design the car around the engine if you put it in the middle. And
it handles better. You've got your center. The engine's the heaviest chunk of the car, as you can imagine. It's moving it back.
When I'm driving,
we kind of lean to the left when I'm riding. Can you imagine how often Wings has to get his tires balanced? From all those left tires getting worn down to the wire.
Is any significant difference? Nah, there can't be.
Why not? You go ask any. You go ask any.